There was a time when a tractor wasn't just a machine, it was a member of the family. It started before sunrise, worked through the heat of summer, and stayed dependable long after newer models came and went. Some tractors earned a reputation that lasted for generations, and the 5 you're about to see didn't just survive the decades, they kept working through them, leaving behind stories that are still told in farm country today. Minneapolis-Moline G1000. By the mid-1960s, American farms were growing larger, fields seemed to stretch farther than ever, and many farmers needed a tractor that could handle long days without complaint. Out on the plains and across the Corn Belt, the Minneapolis-Moline G1000 earned a reputation for being exactly that kind of machine. Built from 1965 through 1969, the G1000 looked every bit as powerful as it felt. Its unmistakable prairie gold paint stood out against fields of corn and wheat, while its massive frame hinted at the work it was born to do. Beneath the hood sat a big 6-cylinder engine producing around 100 horsepower, more than enough to pull heavy tillage equipment through stubborn ground and keep moving when lesser tractors began to struggle. Farmers often remembered the sound first, that deep, steady rumble carried across open fields on cool autumn mornings, whether it was pulling a chisel plow after harvest, hauling loaded wagons, or preparing acres of soil before spring planting. The G1000 seemed to thrive on hard work. It wasn't a small investment. By 1969, a new G1000 carried a price of roughly $8,200. For many farm families, that represented years of careful planning and saving. It was money that could have gone toward land, livestock, or a family home, but farmers who bought one expected it to stay on the farm for decades. And many of them were proven right. Today, many surviving G1000s still appear at tractor shows and working farms. Their paint may be faded in there sheet metal worn by weather, but the engines often start with the same determination they had 60 years ago. Yet even this prairie giant was following a tradition that had already been taking shape for decades. Long before 100-horsepower tractors dominated the countryside, another machine proved that true durability had little to do with size. Allis-Chalmers D17. Introduced in 1957 and produced through 1967, the D17 arrived during a period when farming was changing rapidly, families were expanding operations, fields were growing larger, and tractors needed to do more than ever before. The D17 stepped into that role with confidence, equipped with a dependable 4-cylinder engine delivering around 52 horsepower at the PTO. It provided enough strength for serious field work while remaining manageable for daily chores around the farm. For many farmers across the Midwest, the D17 became the machine they trusted from sunrise until dusk. In the spring, it pulled planters through freshly worked ground. During summer, it handled cultivation duties that helped protect valuable crops. Come autumn, it baled hay, hauled wagons, and worked steadily through harvest season. It was the kind of tractor that rarely demanded attention and rarely gave its owner a reason to worry. Back in the late 1950s, a new D17 typically sold for around $3,500 to $4,000. Depending on equipment and configuration, that was a significant purchase for a family farm. Many farmers remember sitting around the kitchen table discussing whether they could justify the expense. It wasn't simply buying a tractor, it was making an investment in the future of the farm itself. Decades later, many surviving D17s still perform light farm work and appear at county fairs throughout rural America. Their continued presence says something important: farmers didn't keep these machines because they were collectible, they kept them because they worked. And while the D17 earned respect through versatility and dependability, the next tractor became a legend by bringing modern innovation to millions of small farms, creating a legacy that remains almost impossible to match. Ford 8N. Built from 1947 to 1952, the 8N arrived at a time when many farms were still making the transition from horses to machinery. Across rural America, farmers were looking for equipment that could increase productivity without overwhelming the family budget. The 8N answered that need better than almost any tractor of its era. With its simple gray and red appearance, the Ford 8N never looked intimidating. It was compact, approachable, and built for ordinary farmers. Under the hood was a dependable 4-cylinder gasoline engine producing about 23 PTO horsepower. By modern standards, that may not sound impressive, but for thousands of small and medium-sized farms, it was exactly what they needed. The 8N became a familiar sight from New England dairy farms to Midwestern cornfields and southern homesteads. It plowed gardens and fields, it mowed pastures, it pulled wagons loaded with hay. It powered countless implements through Ford's revolutionary 3-point hitch system, a feature that helped change farming forever. One reason so many families embraced the 8N was its affordability. When new, it sold for roughly $1,400 to $1,600 depending on options in local markets. Even then, that represented a major purchase. For many returning veterans and young farm families, it meant years of savings and careful budgeting. Even today, more than 70 years after production ended, thousands of Ford 8Ns remain operational. Some are restored showpieces, others still mow fields, pull trailers, and perform the same jobs they handled generations ago. Their survival speaks to a design that was practical, durable, and remarkably well suited to rural life. Yet while the Ford 8N helped mechanize America's family farms, the next tractor earned its reputation through sheer toughness, becoming a trusted workhorse during one of the most important agricultural eras in the nation's history. Farmall M. Introduced in 1939 and produced through 1952, the Farmall M arrived during a period when American agriculture was transforming at a remarkable pace. Farms were becoming more mechanized, and families needed equipment capable of replacing teams of horses while handling increasingly demanding workloads. The M answered that call with a rugged 4-cylinder engine delivering approximately 34 PTO horsepower, a figure that placed it among the most capable row crop tractors of its day. Its appearance was impossible to miss. Painted in International Harvester's bright Farmall red, the M stood proudly in fields across the Midwest. From Iowa corn farms to Ohio dairy operations, it became a familiar part of the rural landscape. Farmers relied on it to plow heavy ground in the spring, cultivate crops during the summer, and haul wagons loaded with grain when harvest season arrived. What made the Farmall M especially valuable was its versatility. One day it might be pulling a moldboard plow through rich black soil, the next, it could be powering a threshing machine or transporting feed across the farm. It was not unusual for a single tractor to serve multiple generations of a family, adapting to changing needs year after year. And last it did, the Farmall M earned a reputation for durability that spread through rural communities. Its mechanical simplicity allowed owners to perform repairs in their own workshops. Replacement parts remained available for decades, even after newer tractors arrived. Many farmers kept their M because it continued to start, pull, and work whenever needed. But even this legendary Farmall was eventually followed by a machine that many farmers still describe as the greatest all-around tractor they ever owned. A tractor whose reputation for working decade after decade has become the standard by which countless others are judged. John Deere 4020. When it arrived in 1963 as part of John Deere's revolutionary new generation lineup, American farming was entering a new era. Operations were expanding, equipment was becoming more sophisticated, and farmers needed machines that could handle larger workloads without sacrificing reliability. The 4020 quickly proved it was built for exactly that moment. With its unmistakable green and yellow paint, the 4020 became one of the most recognizable sights in rural America. Beneath the hood was a dependable 6-cylinder engine producing about 95 PTO horsepower, giving farmers the power to tackle demanding field work while maintaining the smooth operation that made long days behind the wheel a little easier. Across the Midwest, the 4020 became the backbone of family farms. It pulled heavy tillage equipment through tough spring ground, it planted crops that would feed communities months later, it baled hay under the heat of July and hauled loaded grain wagons during harvest. No matter the season, the tractor seemed ready for whatever the day required. Back in the mid-1960s, a new 4020 typically cost around $8,000, depending on options and configuration. That was serious money at the time. For many farm families, purchasing one represented one of the largest investments they would ever make outside of land itself. Even today, more than half a century after production ended in 1972, countless John Deere 4020s are still working. Some continue to rake hay, move equipment, and perform daily chores. Others remain active on multi-generation farms where grandfathers, fathers, and sons have all spent time in the same seat. Few tractors can claim that kind of legacy. The 4020 did not become a legend because it was the most powerful tractor of its generation. It became a legend because it delivered something farmers value above almost everything else: trust, year after year, season after season, decade after decade. The tractors we remember today were more than steel, gears, and horsepower. They were trusted partners through planting seasons, harvests, droughts, and good years alike. Long after newer machines arrived, these workhorses kept answering the call, and perhaps that's why they still matter today. They remind us of a time when durability meant everything, and when a good tractor could help carry a family farm through generations. If one of these machines was part of your story, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below.